Hola, buenos días. Soy Nico.
Girl, you already know how I give it up.
And today, as you can see, I am back in Houston packing my things. Nico, I'm actually packing before I go on a cruise with my family. Literally, the cruise has been like 2 hours, and I'm just. I'm bulk recording all these videos so that I have something to upload because I know it's probably going to be very loud and hectic on said cruise. So I'm trying to make sure that you guys have at least 1 to 2 videos next week just so that can actually take some time to rest and disconnect from the internet. But that's not what you're here for today. So, today we're here to talk about Mike Mann. Nico, there was a large controversy about Mike Mann once again a couple of weeks ago. And I wanted to address this once again because normally I come on here and I give him grace. He identifies as straight. I do not question his sexuality. I let people identify however they want to identify, even though he has done gay for pay in the past. He has done bisexual scenes to my knowledge. But we're going to be going over his catalog and why people are calling it into question, and also some of the messiness that's surrounding it because people that he's collabed with are trying to attach their names to it so that they can get more clout onto their own videos. But before we get started, if you like this kind of content, make sure to follow me on patreon.com/Nicosaesthetics for more exclusive lives, like videos, be a part of podcasts, which will not be airing this week. Nico, I've been packing all night. I'm still trying to find time to actually hit the gym before my trip too. So it's just like no podcast this week. I'm not even going to front with you. But if you do like this kind of content and you want more exclusive videos and also early access to the YouTube videos, definitely check me out on patreon.com/Nicosaesthetics. Now let's get started. So Mike Mann, Nico, if you do not know who Mike Mann is, he debuted in the Poppy Thugs era of adult gay cinematography, the golden age, as I used to call it. Nico, he is fine. Mike Mann is fine as wine. He is boring on camera. Nico, I say this respectfully as someone who consistently acknowledges that he is a beautiful man and he is beautiful to look at. In every scene, minus the ones I'm going to bring into the conversation to address this, he is uninterested. He is stone-faced. He looks like he's uncomfortable and not enjoying himself, and he's just going through the motions. But as for Mike Mann, he has consistently stated that he has just been gay for pay and that he doesn't really want to do it. And when the topic of his free OnlyFans came up, he was saying that since the page is free, he doesn't want people to dictate when he makes content, especially since not a lot of them were tipping, along with the fact that he does not want to make gay content. And it's starting to wear on his mental health because he's consistently having to do something that he actively doesn't want to do. And what I want to say to that is retire. Nico, my patience, my my patience, my grace is wearing thin with him for the sole fact that he has been doing adult cinematography since the golden age. That is like the early 2000s, maybe 2005, 2009. I'm not too up to date on when he exactly started. In 2023, I just turned 27. So 2009, that's 18 years. Boy, you have been making adult cinematography since I was 5 years old. Since I was 5 years old, and nobody is forcing you to do it. That's the thing. And my patience is wearing thin because he consistently keeps making public statements about not wanting to interact with his gay fans, not wanting to interact in the DMs of his free OnlyFans, not wanting to be forced to make content that involves men. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. I feel like Kim Kardashian right now. Nico, what do you mean? Get your ass up and work. I had to stop myself from saying that word, but F word, work. Not that F word. The other F word. Controversial. The point is, get up and do the job. I am somebody who has YouTube, who has Patreon, who has Twitter, who has Instagram, who has OnlyFans, and I still had to make public appearances in clubs because I'm putting in the work for my content. Whenever you see Nico attached to a video, except for like one, which was like a very amateur laid back video, you will see lights. You'll usually see a cameraman. You will see an aesthetic background. You will see proper editing to make it a proper film. Even when it comes to my YouTube videos, aside from this background because I'm moving, you will see a clean background. You will usually see aesthetic images. You will hear background music. You will see the info. You will see transitions, animations, actual sound effects, because I'm putting in the work into the content that I want to present. If you don't want to do the work, baby, you don't have to do the work. And that's what I want to tell people. When it comes to being like your own self-employed person, you have to actively get up and say, I want to do the work. I want to get the bag. I want to make sure this brand that I'm building is solidified. When it comes to Mike Mann, he don't want to do it. And at the end of the day, I understand that Gay for Pay is going to pay you more because your core audience is gay men. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You entered the scene as a Gay for Pay model. Your core audience is gay men. If you don't want to do the work, you don't have to, because when the studios were beginning to go out of style, all the Poppy Thugs actors, they vanished. Everybody retired, from XL to Mike Mann to who else? Fat Daddy. Who came back? I'll get on that in a second. Shorty J retired. Bam Bam retired. So it's like, these content creators, they say, you know what, studio is dying out. I'm going to actually go and do something else in my career. Mike Mann has had over 15 years to actively choose to do something else with his career. So that's why at 2023, I'm like, if you don't want to do it, no one is forcing you to. I understand the money is good. I understand it's good when it's coming in, especially. But if you don't want to make the content, girl, just retire. Because when Fat Daddy came back, he actually came back, I believe, last year. He came back and he didn't get a lot of traction because the videos he was putting out was either with women in his area, masked men in his area. The camera quality wasn't good. The lighting wasn't good. It was just you can tell I'm doing this because I need the money kind of production. And in 2023, where the OnlyFans market is hyper saturated, you just being pretty and doing it for the sake of getting money is not going to get you far if you're not actively putting in work behind your craft. And I'm not even going to question his sexuality again, because in the past, he has done scenes with a company called Masquerade where he has done unprotected. He has done scenes with white people. He has done scenes with Asian men. And in those scenes, he is giving verbal feedback. If you go back and look at the scenes, I'm not imagining it. He is energetic. He is smiling. He is kissing. He is having fun. And he's actively engaging in the content. But when you look at his black and brown scenes, because Mike Mann is a black and brown Gay for Pay performer household name, if that makes sense. That's his demographic. He's not interested. He's lethargic. He's not actually putting in a good effort to make a good movie. So I'm like, you could be straight. I'm not going to question your sexuality. I'm not going to try to give a faux definition of your sexuality like Jacoby tried to do when it was not his business. He chose to speak on it saying, just because I paid him, that doesn't mean he ain't enjoy it. Just because he ain't look like he enjoyed it in the movie don't mean he ain't enjoy it. It just means that he requires a transactional, exchange if he's going to be with a man. He just don't romantically connect with them. That's not what Mike Mann is saying, baby. This is not your tea. This is not your moment to shine. Just sit this one out. And I wanted to address Jacoby a while ago because he's been moving like very strangely, arguing with other performers in spaces, adding me on Twitter. Nico, he has like added me saying some ridiculous stuff. Like when he was getting dragged for his group scene because people saw YT performers in his scene, they began to drag him and he began to at me going, oh, so Nicosaesthetics not going to talk about this? So Nicosaesthetics not going to say nothing? When am I going to get my interview? It's overdue because I give you so much track. Girl, you are not going to talk to me stupid and expect me to sit down and interview you. Do you know why I interviewed Drummer Boy? He came to me respectfully and he said, I'm a fan of your content and I would love to get my story out there. I love doing that kind of thing. I've done interviews with performers from South Africa, from performers from Brazil, now from performers from the US from the Golden Age. I am willing to give my platform to performers who just say, I want to show you my story. I want to show you how I got in here. I want to tell you about how the industry really is behind the cameras. I love sharing that kind of info. You talking to me out the side of your head and expecting me to give you a platform is ridiculous. But this isn't about you. I just had to add you in because you made a comment on his sexuality and then ranted about him in spaces when at the end of the day you paid him because he's gay for pay.
And I didn't even go underneath the boy post, but it's like, baby, if somebody posts something, you need to stop baiting. If somebody posts something,
wait, but who's gout mouth?
Little Miss Jacoby, he know
What
who
the
he
fuck
is.
is a
You know what I'm talking about.
flexi-sexual?
If you post
Yeah,
something,
can you?
expect somebody to comment.
Jacoby, I think this is towards
And
you.
What is
somebody,
a
so if somebody
flexi-sexual?
posts a comment about that man being claiming he's straight, let that man claim he's straight. Don't go posting all these old fucking whack ass videos to show that the man not
Oh,
interested
Well,
yeah,
I'm
that's the
wasn't
Jacoby. That's the
I'm
Jacoby.
straight, dog.
like.
I feel like
Bitch,
somewhere
you
along the line
paid
we
me.
My
You
picked a
paid me
videos
to
are
do a
reservoir.
whack.
This
job.
is
My
the
videos are.
I don't
Jacoby.
Hold on,
think
hold on, hold on, hold on,
I'm
hold on.
straight too.
I'm
My
straight as
videos are
hell,
whack.
bro.
I was going back to this
But hold
conversation.
on, my videos are whack, but you don't want to play Big Bank Take Little Bank with me.
Jacoby,
I'm
you
ready
You've
to.
been a
You ain't
content
straight.
creator. You got all that
I love that
body, you
song.
got
Oh my
all that
god, I
dick,
love
you
that
got all
song.
that face, and you can't sell. What is your percentage? What is your percentage? Okay, the most traction that you've had at your page is since you posted that picture of me up. I want you to go. I want you to know that. So before
Jacoby,
you call
but
anybody's content
at the
whack,
end of the
look at
day,
your look at your
at the end
content.
of the day, I don't.
In attack mode,
At the end of the day,
Jacoby.
so
In
so
attack
so so
mode.
baby, let's worry
Talk to
about
me,
your
Jacoby.
I never
content.
took nothing.
I'm gonna worry about my
And this
content.
way, and this what I'm saying.
That does not mean he enjoyed himself, because he visibly didn't enjoy himself in that video. He was trying to say that, well, he was still up and he was performing and he was ready. That means he had to enjoy himself. He still got to the finish line. Viagra is a thing. Like, I don't know why y'all pretend like Viagra is not a household, remedy for certain issues. Like, it's not hard to get into a starting position and get to the finish line if you have assistance. So that does not change his sexuality. Sit down. It's not your dialogue. It's rare that I actually tell somebody, girl, this is not your time to shine, because at the end of the day, I am also discussing some info that is not necessarily my business. I'm just covering something everybody is talking about. But when you turn it around and make it about you, that's when it becomes, okay, well, why are you even speaking if you're just trying to call him gay at the end of the day and he wants to identify as straight? So when it comes to Mike Mann, I don't know what his sexuality is. I'm going to choose to continue to let him identify as how he wants. But if you don't want to do it, don't do it. Yes, you're going to lose majority of your fan base. Yes, you're going to cut off your core demographic. But if you are able to put out a content with women or trans people that you want to have intimate interactions with, and you're happy about that content and you feel like you can, go out the next day and not feel shame or regret about it because it's affecting your mental health, do that. What do you want me to say? Because like I said with Fat Daddy, he came back and he didn't make a lot of ripples because the quality of the videos weren't that amazing. But at the end of the day, he used to also talk about how the industry would affect his mental health and how he wanted to get out, and he retired and then came back. So just like him, just like Mike Mann, if you retire and you don't want to come back, find an alternate side hustle. Because at the end of the day, sex work is work. What we do is work. A lot of people don't understand that creatives, whether it be OnlyFans, whether it be YouTube, there's hours of editing that goes into every video. Like me doing this like 10 to 13 minute video, it's going to take me 45 minutes to an hour just to edit it. And then I had to worry about the upload. And then I had to worry about if it gets demonetized. So it's like, there's more effort into actually putting out a video or content than just clicking record. And I want Mike Mann to understand that. If you don't want to do the extra work, if you don't want to do the collabs, if you don't want to be known as a gay for pay performer anymore, stop doing it. Just stop doing it. I'm at the point where my patience is wearing thin with coddling people, because I'm not going to challenge your sexuality. That's not what I'm here to do, and that's not what this dialogue in my channel is about. What I'm trying to say is, if it's definitely bothering you to the point that it's affecting your mental health, don't do it. Don't do it. Find a different career path. It's perfectly fine, because in the time that you retired and came back, I'm sure you had a different job. Yeah, you probably came back because the money was more lucrative and easy to make on this side, but you can clearly find an alternate way to make your money and pay your bills. So if you don't want to do it anymore, don't do it. But definitely drop your opinions down below. How do you feel about gay for pay performers, Mike Mann in particular, who retire and then choose to come back to the same landscape to try to make money, but still have this disdain for their customer base and the action in itself? How do you feel about performers who try to use their experiences with gay for pay performers as a way to invalidate their sexuality, when it's clear that they both, first and foremost, paid them, second, they didn't enjoy the content that they were making? Jacoby. Like, in this industry, and this is just a word to Jacoby because you watch whatever anyone says about you, you cannot be beefing with people back and forth. You cannot be going back and forth to performers, calling them out their names. Because I was about to make a full video on you. I probably will, just because you've been doing a lot recently. And expect them to look out for you and keep your name in rotation and keep your numbers up. Because people have been saying, those pages that you have, you bought them. That engagement is from a page that no longer exists because you overtook it. So I'm not going to say that that's the case because I don't have physical proof of that, nor do I care that much. But you sitting here talking about, look at my percentages, look at my money, look at my numbers. At the end of the day, that's data, clicks and buttons. You cannot be beefing with the people that you're supposed to be working with. For example, I talk about tea all day, twice a week, annually for like 3 to 4 years now. Every performer that I've met in person has said, I watch your content. I enjoy your content. I like to keep up to date with other performers via your content. Do you want to collab? If people don't care that I'm actively talking about their tea and they still want to collab with me, but people are calling you out your name and disrespecting your content and what you're producing, stop going back and forth with people. At a certain point, to any influencer, to anybody who is in the public eye, it is not worth going back and forth with people. That's why you rarely ever see me even respond to people who talk to me in a negative light and or negative connotation. Because at the end of the day, you're not going to change their minds about you. Take it to the chin and keep it moving. Like, genuinely, I want to see you succeed because we did follow each other beforehand. You do seem like a decent person. You offered to help me when you thought I needed help, and I appreciated that. But at the end of the day, you can't expect people to extend grace to you and be cool with you if you constantly going back and forth with people. But yes, definitely drop your opinions down below. I'm just tired of Mike Mann in particular, and that's the thing. You gotta do a lot to make me look at a pretty nigga and go, okay, girl, you gotta get up out of here. Like, Mike Mann is drop dead gorgeous, and I'm just at the point where, girl, you gotta move. I'm so tired of hearing you complain about this. But yes, definitely drop your opinions down below. Boop. And now for a brief yet sincere shout out to this week's third eye tier subscribers, Stefan IB and DJ. Your continued support is greatly appreciated. As for this week's live stream, unfortunately it will be canceled because I'm currently on a cruise with my mommy, so I will see you guys next week, and I hope you enjoy your 4th of July. Until then, later.